Hi everyone. So this video is a very short video in which I'm going to discuss in a very short way how to memorize nematodes. So in USMLE there are a lot of questions which come on this topic, and I'm going to discuss only those points that I frequently asked. So helminths, the section of helminths. Helminths are divided into nematodes, cestodes, and trematodes. But we are going to discuss nematodes one step at a time. Yeah. So in nematodes, first let's categorize the way the nematodes attack the host, the way we acquire infection from them. So they can be A, ingestion, that is fecal route. Okay. B is skin penetration. Okay. And C is through vector bites. So just grossly memorize that these are the three modes of infection with nematodes. That's ingestion, skin penetration, and vector bites. So let's first discuss the bugs that cause infection through ingestion of fecal route. To memorize them, we can write a mnemonic, that is try eating a toxic treat. Try eating a toxic treat. Okay, so try stands for Tricurious, Tricura. Okay, eating stands for E, stands for Enterobius. Okay, A stands for Ascaris. Okay, toxic stands for Toxocara, and the treat stands for Trichinella. Okay. Then we have two bugs under the heading of skin penetration, right? So something motile, something living is going to penetrate the skin, right? And they are going to produce the typical sign that is asked in the USMLE questions, and that is cutaneous larva migrans, right? So those bugs that cause infection by skin penetration, they produce CLM, that is cutaneous larva migrans. Okay, these are number 1 hookworms, and number 2 strongyloids, stercoralis. Okay, and last comes the vector bites. It is easy to memorize these. So one section of nematodes are called filarial nematodes. Filarial nematodes. Okay. And there are 3 filarial nematodes. First is Loa or loiasis. It causes loiasis. Second is Onchocerca volvulus. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because I am also not too good at memorizing things. And then is Buschreria Bancrofti. Okay, so these three are filarial nematodes, and these three are the ones that are going to spread through vector bytes. So let's start from vector bytes. Okay, we are going to discuss those points that are frequently asked. Okay, first, that what part of the life cycle is introduced by the vectors when they are causing this infection. So we know that these three infections like loiasis, onchocerciasis, and lymphatic filariasis, these three infections are going to spread through vector bytes. But which part of the life cycle is the causative agent? So always remember, it's going to be a larva. The wound that is created when a vector bites, larva is introduced, and not microfilariae. Not microfilariae, because we tend to while attempting the question, we tend to mark microfilaria, but no, microfilaria has a diagnostic value when it comes to attempting the questions. Okay, and another thing, these three vector bites, the diseases that are spread through vector bites, their investigation is done through blood smears. And blood smears are not going to be used anywhere else. Blood smears over here, thin blood smears. And what are we going to see on the blood smears, on the peripheral blood film? The microfilaria. Here we are going to mark the answer, that we are the diagnostic value of this answer. And larva is the infective thing. It is introduced into the bites, and this larva causes the infection. Okay, and it's blood smears or serology, right? But mainly blood smears. Now some specific points for Onchocerca volvulus. I'm sorry for the mess, but I hope you're keeping up with me. Yeah, so some points for the Onchocerca, right? The best diagnostic test is slit lamp. Okay, another specific test is skin snip. Another is Mazzotti test. Okay, Mazzotti test. Okay, why blood smears here and another test called skin snip in Onchocerca? That is because the microfilariae, right, here they're going to cause microfilariasis in the bloodstream. In Buschreria, it's going to cause, as the name suggests, lymphatic filariasis. It's going to infect the lymphatics. But in Onchocerca, the infection resides in the subcutaneous tissue, sub-Q tissue, and therefore we take the skin snip. Okay, Mazzotti test is something that is analogous to Cassoni reaction in a way. It's like when the Onchocerca dies, it's going to produce a rash, a reaction. So in a way, it's a provocative test. So when we introduce the drug DEC to a patient who is suspected to be infected with Onchocerca, there will be this Mazzotti reaction within the next 48 hours due to the antigens from the dead Onchocerca nematode. Okay, then let's go to the skin penetration. The nematodes that spread via skin penetration, right? So obviously, if something is penetrating the skin, it can't be an egg. It has to be something motile, something movable. So most likely it's going to be a worm or a larva. Okay, and you can memorize this as, in hookworms it is the worm, and in strongyloids it is the larva. Obviously some motile form has to move and penetrate the skin, right? Okay, also one thing that both of them, they cause cutaneous larva migrants, right? Both of them, they also cause pulmonary symptoms. Okay, so in the ones that cause infection via skin penetration. They also cause pulmonary symptoms, okay, and they also, both of them, they cause cutaneous larva migrans, right? And the drug of choice for them is bendazoles, or ivermectin if there is cutaneous larva migrans. Another drug you can give if bendazoles are not tolerated well, that is PP. PP is parental pamoate. Okay. Now let's come to this section, which is infestation via ingestion or the fecal-oral route, right? So here we have 5 bugs. From try eating a toxic treat. Try stands for Tricurious tricura. Eating stands for Entropius. A stands for Ascaris. Toxic stands for Toxocara. And treat stands for Trichinella. Okay, now do one thing, just divide them. Divide them into these 2 and these 3. Okay, so now basically you have try eating A on one side and toxic treat on the other side. Okay, right? So basically the question now arises that yes, we know that these 5 bugs spread through fecal-oral route, but ingestion of which stage of their life cycle causes the disease, right? So the ones that are on the left, that is try eating that is Tricurious, Entropius and Ascaris, it occurs by ingestion of eggs, right? Whenever we eat some food which is contaminated by the eggs, through eggs, okay? And the one, sorry, yeah, so these are from eggs. Okay, here we have Toxocara, and here we have Trichinella, right? Trichinella is not from eggs, it's from undercooked meat. Okay, and well, Toxocara is from eggs, however there is something specific about it, so that's why I've segregated them, these 2 from these 3, and that is eggs from infected dog or cat feces. Alright, so ingestion of eggs, but except for Trichinella, it is through undercooked meat, right? Now the investigation. Okay, investigation of choice for them would be, for these 3, eggs and stool. Okay, and for these 2, it's going to be serology, IgGs. Okay, as a matter of fact, the skin penetration ones, as we talked about it, that they both are caused by worms or larvae, something motile. The investigation of choice for them would be worm or larva in stool. So yeah, this is one of the shortcuts that I have devised in order to memorize. Yeah, and also one thing, the filarial nematodes which occur through vector bites, you have to memorize the vectors also, and the vectors are very different from each other. I don't think there should be any confusion. However, yes, for loa it is mango fly, deer fly or horse fly. For Onchocerca, it is the female black fly, and for Bushraria bancrofti, it's a mosquito, which is female Culex species. Okay. Also, another thing that just came to my mind, since we segregated these three from these two, and these two have some things in common, right? And that is, number one, that both of them are spread through the mode of ingestion, all right? And both of them, investigation of choice is serology, right? And third, you can memorize is that the manifestations in both, okay, has two phases. Okay, has two phases. For example, in Toxocara, there is this systemic phase and there is this ocular phase. Okay, and then in Trichinella, alright, in Trichinella there is this intestinal phase and the other one is muscle myositis phase, muscle phase. Okay, and some things specific about these three as well. We can't leave these three things alone, right? So for Tricurious tricura, you can memorize that it causes rectal prolapse in children. In Trobius, you can memorize something very specific and frequently asked, the tape test. The tape test, because it causes perianal itching at night, and you can apply a tape to the perianal area, and when you visualize it under microscope, you're going to see the eggs in stool. And Ascaris, for Ascaris, I think the best thing to memorize is that it also causes pulmonary symptoms. Okay, that's it. Thank you.